Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar about variety cruises. My name is Jenny Wade and I'm one of the directors here at Blue Water Holidays. If you've joined one of our webinars before, then welcome back. Or if it's your first Blue Water Holidays experience with webinar experience, then thank you very much for joining us today and it's great to have you here. Blue Water Holidays are leading specialists in small ship, river, niche and luxury cruises. We offer cruises to a whole host of different destinations worldwide. We were founded 20 years ago and we're based in Skipton in North Yorkshire, where we've got a superb team of friendly and very knowledgeable travel experts who have been with the company for a long time. Many of them have actually been with the company since we started, so they do have superb experience and knowledge. As small ship cruise specialists, we deal with a number of different cruise operators, but you don't get much smaller or much more specialist than Variety Cruises, which is who we are speaking about today. And we are joined by Lisa Burton, who is the National Sales Manager for Variety Cruises in the UK. And she's going to spend the next 30 minutes, or she and I are going to spend the next 30 minutes or so talking about this extremely intimate, authentic, and in my opinion, absolutely fantastic brand and their style of cruise holiday. So Lisa, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. I mean, as you know, Variety Cruises is a firm favourite with the team here at Blue Water Holidays. In fact, our managing director, Juliet, has cruised numerous times with Variety. So she's been all around the Greek islands on various different cruises and also Croatia. And they've been her own holidays. And I myself have holidayed on the Harmony V. I did the classical Greece itinerary a couple of years ago. And I know that you've experienced quite recently. Was it classical Greece that you did?
Yeah, it was classical Greece. So I joined the company back in May this year. I'm quite new to Variety, and as part of my induction, I of course had to go out and spend a few nights on a yacht in Greece. Terrible,
yeah.
And it was honestly absolutely fantastic. So hopefully we'll be able to inspire people a little bit today and tell them all about Variety.
Yeah, well, both of us certainly have the experience to hopefully be able to do that. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about the history of Variety and the family sort of values and ownership, because for me that's something that makes it all that more special and authentic, really.
Absolutely, and I think you can feel that we're a family business when you're on board the ships. That's one of the key things. So you may not have heard of Variety Cruises, but we have been around quite a long time. So the business started back in 1949. So we've got a lot of experience. Originally started as an inbound Greek tourism business, taking Greek passengers out to the islands, you know, no one coming from overseas. A few years after that, the company joined up with a yacht company, and then Variety Cruises as the brand gradually evolved from these two businesses joining together. We were founded by Diogenes Venetopoulos, and it's still a family-run company today. So our current CEO is Philippos Venetopoulos, and he is Dio's grandson. So it is a family business. It feels like a family business. You know, our crew are our family, our passengers are our family, and we really want that to inform everything that we do on the ship and in our itineraries. We are a 360-degree integrated company. So what that means is that we build our ships, we fit them out, we design the itineraries, the staff are all employed by Variety. We don't leave anything to third parties. It's all part of the same family business, and that means we can get things exactly how we want them on board. So our headquarters is in Athens, and I know Jenny's already mentioned some of our Greek island cruises. And as you can imagine, you know, being based in Athens, the Greek islands are really where our expertise is. But we do have ships in other parts of the world as well that we'll go on to.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say it's fair weather cruising, isn't it? Which is my type of cruising. Yeah. So it's the Med in the summer, and then during the winter months you go over to the Seychelles, Tahiti, West Africa.
Yeah, that's right. So we do Tahiti launches this winter, and Seychelles we're there all year round. And then we also have rivers of West Africa and Cape Verde Islands through winter as well. There's an Egypt, Jordan and Israel program, which is fantastic. You get to see so many amazing sites on that itinerary. Costa Rica and Panama Canal also, and then as of winter 23-24, just about to go on sale, we're going to the Emirates for the first time, which is really exciting.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great. That's nice. And this is one thing that I love about variety. You don't, apart from sort of those traditional itineraries, you do try to do different things as well, and that's great because it just, enables people to see different parts of the world. Because you will find, certainly we find that a lot of passengers who've travelled with Variety once will come back and travel again and again and try those different destinations. So it's nice that you're expanding the product offering and portfolio.
Absolutely. And I think one of the joys of small ship cruising is that we can go to places that the big ships can't get to. So, if we see an itinerary and we think that looks amazing, the chances are we can get one of our small ships to it. It's easy for us to tender in shallow bays. It's easy for us to drive into, we take our ships into marinas, not into cruise terminals. So we can really be quite selective about where we go and put together some really unusual itineraries. I don't believe anyone else is doing West Africa, for example.
They're described as yachts and sailing ships, is that right?
Yes, that's right. So they are mega yachts. Within that category, we have some what we call motor yachts, which is what you imagine a yacht would look like. But then we also have the motor sailors as well, which is a twin mast or triple masted sailing ship. And we have 3 of those in the fleet as well. And as you can imagine, being at sea with the sails up, sailing through the Greek islands, it's really special. It's a really special experience.
And the ship that I went on was the Harmony V, which is one of the mega yachts. It's brilliant. For me, it's the whole experience of being on board a Variety cruise, and I'm sure that comes whether you're on one of the sailing ships, the motor yachts, or the mega yachts. It's the fact that you can just pull up, as you say, to smaller marinas and bays that other ships just simply cannot get to, and also the fact that you just anchor in the ocean and you can go for a swim stop. They were some of my favourite days. And I specifically remember on the classical Greece itinerary going to a place called Kythera, which is certainly, it's very small. Was it an island? Was it part of the mainland?
Part of the mainland.
It is part of the mainland. Yeah, I was thinking I'd say island, and then I was thinking, no, it's mainland. But it was such a small town, probably even classified as a village, and it was barely touched by tourism. And it's that authentic Greek experience that is so difficult to find these days because everybody loves, or a lot of people love Greece. And, then that means the places become more popular and more commercialized. But these ships actually get into the smaller ports that are less commercialized.
They do, and I think, the beauty of our Greek program is that, of course, a lot of people want to visit the famous islands. We all want that shot of Santorini. We all want to go and see the windmills in Mykonos. But because of the size of our ships, we can combine those real hot spots with some really off the beaten track places. So, you don't feel like your whole holiday is in busy tourist destinations. You can have that busy day. You can get your photos for Facebook and Instagram and whatever else you want to do of those really key destinations that everyone wants to go and visit. But then the next day, you're going to be on a completely isolated island with maybe 30, 40 other people. Yeah. It's really different. We do one itinerary called Unexplored Greece, which is probably my favourite, and we've extended it out for 2023 because it's sold out this year. And that's going to islands that I've never heard of before I joined Variety Cruises. There's one island that we go to that's uninhabited other than one family who they rear goats. That's what happens on the island. There is a restaurant on the island, and it only opens up when a ship goes in, and it's run by this family. So you're not going to get that experience going on any other kind of holiday. You're not going to go to this island for your 2-week stay. With this itinerary, it's almost like you're stepping back in time. You go into Greece how it would have been before mass tourism, which is really special. And actually, just to mention the ship on that, because the ship that does this itinerary, it's our oldest ship. There's only 32 passengers on board. And even though it's been refurbished in traditional style. So you can still imagine, it's got wood panelled dining rooms. It's got a cigar room, which isn't for smoking now, but it's there as a reading room now. But it's really, it really does feel like you're going on a voyage around the Greek islands, maybe in the 50s or 60s. It's beautiful.
Excellent. And in terms of, I remember before I went on looking at the itinerary and thinking, okay, so this is a half board basis. So there'll be times when it's lunch served on board, and there'll be times when it's dinner, depending on when you're cruising, etc. And you'd arrange your own lunch. And I remember just thinking, okay, so those days, food isn't included. And then I went on the ship and I was like, food isn't included that day. That's great, because one of the big advantages of going to these destinations is being able to sample the local cuisine. And of course, if you want to half-board basis, and you've just got lunch included, and then in the evening you're in Mykonos, for example, and you can go to a local taverna, which is exactly what we did. We went, we had some beautiful traditional authentic cuisine in Mykonos, and then a few drinks after, and then meandered back to the yacht. And I don't think it didn't set sail till the early hours of the morning. So when I say a few drinks, probably a few drinks too many, but it's so rare and actually so brilliant that you have that opportunity, and you're not thinking, well, it's included in the fare, so I should really go back to the ship to dine. You know,
and that's the whole ethos of the company, you know. The ships are beautiful, you know, the ships are great, but it's not about the ship, it's about the destinations that we're taking you to.
Yeah.
So, you know, we want our guests to come on holiday with Variety Cruises. We want to take you to these amazing destinations, and we want to make a positive contribution to the islands that we visit. And for us, that means you're not feeling like you've got to come back on board and spend money on the ship. Go out and spend money in the local community. Go and, you know, find that amazing taverna. Go and find that great bar and watching the sunset. On Classical Greece itinerary, we overnight or stay till the early hours of the morning in 4 different ports. So you've got lots of opportunity to actually discover what the island's all about. You know, we aren't getting there at 10 and leaving at 4 and you're rushing around. You're going to spend the evening there. You're going to go to a bar. You might find something you want to do, have a walk along the beach at sunset. Come back when you're ready and we'll sail the next morning. And that's what it's all about. The ships are beautiful, and we want you to enjoy the ships, be comfortable and feel at home on the ship. But actually what we really want you to do is discover some amazing places when you come on holiday with us.
It's actually, in many senses, sort of a luxurious island hopping holiday, really, isn't it? With different islands every day, but still getting that real opportunity to experience them in terms of cuisine, and also, as you say, time, which I know I use the word luxury there, and everybody has different takes on what luxury means to them. And to me, time is definitely a luxury. You know, when you work and you're busy, it's so nice to have that time not only to relax, but also to see new destinations and to explore new places. And then the ships being small and intimate, like what's the maximum number of passengers?
So our biggest ship is Variety Voyager, and that takes 72 passengers. So when we're talking about small ships, we really mean small ships, you know. The idea is, and Jenny, I'm sure you'll agree with it, we want people to feel like they're on holiday with a bunch of friends on a yacht. We don't want you to feel like, you know, you're in some sort of huge corporate world where everything's busy, everything's, you know, really sort of planned for you. We want you to feel like you're with your friends, you can get off the ship when you want to, your al fresco breakfast on deck, you can walk around in your, you know, swimwear, and it's so relaxed, and that's what we want you to feel like.
Yeah, and when I was talking about time then and being luxury, that also applies to the ship very much so. You know, you don't want to be battling, you know, to find a spot to lie out and relax, or waiting for 20, 30 minutes at the bar to get a drink, or to find a table in the dining room. It's a small ship experience. You don't have that, and it's all those pressures that are taken away from you, and it's just brilliant. And again, I mean, I've done large ship cruising as well, of course I have, and I do enjoy that. You know, I like all different
me too. I like
there's different markets for everything, but to not have to queue for a tender boat, to just, you know, hop on as if you need to, like Santorini, for example. I think I'm right in saying this. We had a small, sort of almost like a Zodiac style tender boat. Because it's a small ship, it can get a lot closer than a lot of the other ships can. So it was just a very quick journey across to Santorini.
And actually the Zodiac's really fun as well, so it does become a really fun part of the holiday. There's something really nice about hitting the beach on a Zodiac.
Yeah,
it's like, you feel like you're in a James Bond movie. It's quite exciting.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more. I mean, I know we've spoken extensively about Greece there, and I keep reverting back to classical Greece because it really was such a wonderful itinerary and definitely a highlight of my sort of cruising experiences. That's certainly for sure. But tell us a little bit more about the other destinations that you go to, because I know that this year and previously it's been Croatia and the Adriatic, and I think that might be changing slightly for next year. Is that right?
That is, yes. So we've still got our Greece programme that we've done. So classical Greece is staying, of course. We're extending out the unexplored. Our best seller is Jules and the Cyclades. It's always a best seller. It's on a motor sailor, and it's a modern motor sailor, but designed to look like a traditional wooden motor sailor. So it looks absolutely stunning in the ports when it pulls in. And that's already on sale for 2024. It's the first one we've put out for 2024 because it is so popular. We also have some limited collection cruises. So these are, we talk about being niche. These are very, very niche, but again, really popular. So we have Antiquities to Byzantium, which goes around some amazing historical sites. We have a guest lecturer on board to take you to all these amazing Greek ruins and tell you about the history, and you can really learn about it. We have a hiking cruise in November. Of course, in November, nobody's going to want to do that in August in Greece, but that takes you, up into the hills of some amazing destinations in Greece. We've just completed our first ever wine cruise, which was fantastic. That's gone on sale now for next year, with an expert wine guide, going to the vineyards of Greece doing wine tastings. And then moving out of Greece for the summer, Variety Voyage is actually moving over to Italy. So we're going to be doing Sicily, Malta and the Aeolian Islands in the early part of the season. And then the later part of the season is still about to be announced, but it's going to be a little bit further north in Italy. So we're going to have a programme right through the summer out of Italy as well, which is fantastic because there's some beautiful, beautiful coastal and island destinations in Italy for us to visit.
I will look forward to the announcement on that then. We'll be sure to let people know once Lisa's confirmed exactly where it's going to. But yeah, we like a new announcement. And as I say, the fact that you keep your itineraries fresh is great because it just gives more options and it keeps everything new and exciting. So in terms of the day-by-day itineraries, Lisa, of course, having been on board, I know how a day looks, but for the viewers, can you give us a sort of an idea if someone was doing perhaps one of the Greek itineraries, maybe your next for Greece, how that day would look, how that week, how that itinerary would look? Because most of the itineraries are 7 days, is that right?
Yeah, most of 7 days. We have a couple of long haul which vary slightly, but certainly in Europe it's a 7-night itinerary. So it's quite relaxed. I think we've already got across that it's quite relaxed. And what we normally do, in most cases, we will overnight either at anchor or we'll sail through the night. So you're hitting somewhere in the morning. Breakfast, wherever the weather will allow us, will be served on deck. So it's lovely to have the al fresco breakfast, served buffet style. Depending on where you are, you'll either be sailing in the morning to a destination, you may have a swim stop. We do try and put swim stops in wherever possible. I always think one of the biggest selling points for our cruises is that we don't have a swimming pool. We don't need a swimming pool because we've got the ocean. And on the ships, you've got snorkels you can borrow, you've got kayaks in certain destinations, fishing equipment. So, we will make sure where we can, we drop anchor for 2 or 3 hours and you just jump off the ship into the sea, and that's your, that's your exercise for the day. Then we would have, in a half-board itinerary, say, that's going into Mykonos, you would have lunch on board, and then we would dock in Mykonos for the evening. There'll always be an excursion provided, but they are, of course, optional. So if you want to do an excursion, you book those on board. Or if you don't want to do the excursion and you want to flop on the beach for the whole day, then that's entirely up to you as well. The itineraries, they vary so much with the excursions offered, but one of the key selling points is that the excursions are all in small groups. You'll never have more than 20 people on one of our group excursions. So, we aren't swamping somewhere. You're going off, you've got expert local guides. So our guides really, really know the destinations that they're going to. And we will try and take you off the beaten track with the excursions as well. So, of course, there are some famous sites that everyone wants to see, but we will also take you to a vineyard. We'll take you, on our next board Greece, we'll take you to where the sponge divers take the sponges in to be dried out. We will try and find something really unique to that particular destination to take our excursion to. As it's half board and we're saying we're in Mykonos, for example, on this one, we're not going to leave until 4 o'clock the next morning. You can come and go from the ship as you please during the time that we're docked. This was probably the biggest difference I found between a large cruise and a small ship experience, was actually the embarkation process and the getting on and off the ship at convenience. So, going out of Athens, you get to the ship. We're in a small port, we're in a small marina, not in a huge cruise port. The taxi takes me right to the gangplank. Someone gets my bag. I'm ticked off a list. I get a little cruise card. I'm on the ship in 5 minutes, and somebody's serving me a cold drink. There's no queuing. There's no admin to do. It's very, very low key. It's very relaxed, and that's the same in every port. So if we're at anchor in a port from say 2 p.m. till 4 o'clock the next morning, if you want to come and go 7, 8 times during that time, you're very welcome to. If you're sat on deck and you can see an ice cream shop down the road, jump off, get an ice cream, you can bring it back on board. That's absolutely fine. No one's going to tell you you can't do that. So, you know, it's always about that feeling of, yes, we provide these things for you to do. We're going to provide excursions. We're going to provide a small degree of entertainment on an evening, but we don't expect you to do it if you don't want to. It's your holiday. You choose to spend as much time on the ship or in port as you want to.
It's quite bizarre, isn't it, getting acclimatised to that when you've been used to other styles of cruising. I would say for those viewers or listeners who have cruised and done river cruises before, in some respect, it's very similar in the sense of getting right into the heart of the town, village, and in some cases, city that you're actually visiting, but also that sort of informal environment where, as you say, it is okay to bring, you know, your own ice cream on board. No one's going to tell you you can't do it. You're not queuing for hours on end for embarkation. I did a conference recently on a ship that had 6,000 passengers, and when I had to hand my case in and told it would be there in sort of in my cabin within the next 4 to 5 hours, I was like, what? I'm not used to this. We do small ships. That was bizarre. So it is great to know that when you get on, you know, within 5 minutes you're actually on, embarked. You've got access to your cabin most of the time, and you're good to go and start your holiday and start.
Absolutely, the holiday starts the minute you get on board. It's so relaxed in comparison, not even to another cruise holiday, but even to a hotel holiday. You know, I don't think I've ever done anything that's been so relaxed is a word I keep saying, but that's probably the best description. You don't feel under any pressure to do anything the whole time that you're there. You know, it's your holiday. You choose to spend it how you wish.
Yeah, and you mentioned excursions a few times. I know we talked about half board and full board. Just talk us through. So I know we've talked about unexplored Greece and classical Greece, and they're probably two of the most popular itineraries that you have, the Greek islands, etc. Number one, what kind of sort of leading price are we looking at for those? And secondly, what's included in that cost?
So for a leading price, we only have 3 category cabins, 4 category cabins on some ships. They're all ocean view. So you're not looking at a choice between, you know, 20, 30 different price ranges on the cabins. That's something that's worth mentioning. And low season pricing, you're starting from around £1,700 per person for the cruise. You can add flights on pre and post cruise stays if you want to. You can do cruise only. It can be tailor made really however you want it. And what's included in that is your meals, full or half board. Full board mostly is for long haul destinations where there's less opportunity to go out and eat locally. Your anything that you borrow from the ship, so the snorkeling equipment, the kayaks, everything like that's included. There's a welcome gala evening, and then after that it's pay as you go. So we don't do all inclusive. We don't sort of, you know, offer an all inclusive drinks package because we find that people don't really spend enough time on the ship to justify that. They're out, you know, drinking the Retsina, of course.
Yeah.
So that's not something that we offer. The excursions are all payable, but we do book those on board. As you can imagine, small ship cruising, it is subject to weather on some occasions, and having the excursions booked on board gives us the flexibility to change should we need to. So, you know, if it's going to be windy, we don't want people to be uncomfortable while they're at sea. If that means we change one island to a different day, we do the itinerary backwards, then that's something we can do very, very quickly in a small ship. And by having the excursions booked when you're on board, it gives us the flexibility to manage that a lot more easily. When we do long haul destinations, you will find it's more full board. So when we're out in Costa Rica, Panama, for example, you'll find a full board offering there. The only time we do everything included is in the wines of Greece, because the wine pairings that come from the vineyards are part of the whole experience. So it really does vary depending on the itinerary of what's included.
And in terms of, you spoke about the flights and being able to tailor things. Blue Water Holidays, we are at all bonded. So if any of our viewers or listeners do think, well, actually, I'd love to do that cruise, it finishes in Athens, but then I want to do a stay in Santorini for a week, that's certainly something that we can arrange. That's not a problem. We've got that degree of flexibility. All you need to know is that our advisors at Blue Water Holidays know exactly what you want to do, and that's certainly something that we can tailor for you.
Going to do something like a classical Greece followed by an unexplored, so you know you see all of those amazing Crete, Santorini, Mykonos, you get to those ports, but then you're doing the unexplored Greece, you can do a back-to-back because they both go in and out of Athens on a Friday.
Yeah.
You guys can package that up as well, and you do get a discount for doing a back-to-back cruise. So if somebody's wanting a 2-week holiday and seeing lots of different islands, that's an option as well.
I can't think of anything better
That's
right now.
okay.
We're moving to the colder months. It's like the thought of doing that sounds sensational. And then the Seychelles and Tahiti, in terms of the day-by-day structure, I know we've talked about how the itinerary works if we are in the Mediterranean, so if we're doing one of the Greek island cruises. How does it work if we're cruising over, you know, Seychelles, Costa Rica, Tahiti? Is that exactly the same kind of setup? It's still half board, isn't it?
Full board in some destinations, and what you tend to find as well, you have more evenings on the ship. So in some ports, I don't know if you've visited sort of Panama, those sort of areas, but in some of the port areas, particularly around the entrance to the canal, there's not really an evening place to go. So you'll find more evenings are spent on board, and actually more during the day rather than sailing during the day. So your nighttime sailing is a bit more key. The other thing slightly different with the Seychelles and Tahiti as well is you can vary the 7-night itineraries. So in the Seychelles, you can do 3, 4 or 7 nights. And what we tend to find is people really, you know, I mean, what sounds better, 7 nights beach hotel in Seychelles, followed by 3 or 4 nights on a cruise around the other islands that you've not visited. So there's so many opportunities for packaging something slightly different in the Seychelles. The same with Tahiti, you can do a 7-night, but you can also do 11 nights. We're conscious geographically, Tahiti is quite challenging to get to, so it might not be what you want to do for a 7-night holiday. However, 11 nights and a couple of nights either side takes you up to 2 weeks, so it is slightly different. The main things in those 2 destinations is about the sea life and the wildlife, and also in Costa Rica. So, you know, in the Seychelles, kayaking is really key, snorkeling, the same with Tahiti, and the holiday is very much based around the water, with some amazing excursions. So of course, if you're going to Seychelles, you're going to go and see the turtles, you're going to go and see the birds, you're going to go to the nature reserves, but it's very much around getting you out to these amazing beaches and islands where you can snorkel and spend time with the wildlife.
And in terms of sort of demographic on board, you attract families. Is there an age limit for children?
There isn't an age limit as such, but we do say we don't recommend to children under the age of 5, purely because of the facilities on board and what there is to do. Families are welcome. We're a family company, so we would never say, you know, no families. What I would say is, you know, think about the child and whether it's going to suit them. So, you know, if you've got a child that loves to swim and is going to love jumping off the side of the ship on the swim stops, you know, enjoying snorkeling, kayaking, going out onto the tavernas on an evening, they're going to absolutely love it. If your child is someone that is more into kids clubs and wants entertainment, it may be not for them. So families are very welcome, but just really, you know, really have a think about whether it's suitable for your family.
Yeah, of course. Lisa, that's been brilliant. You've given us a great idea of what variety is like. And for the viewers and listeners, we have, I'm showing the details on the screen of our contact information. So you have our opening hours there, which are Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Our telephone number 01756 706 500 and our email address, which is info@bluewaterholidays.com. All the details of all our variety cruises are available on our website, which is www.cruisingholidays.co.uk. Again, the details are there on the screen. And please do go and have a look at all the itineraries. You've got day by day, all the details, all the information on the ships. And as I said, variety cruises is a huge firm favourite with Blue Water Holidays. Many of us have cruised on board the ship, so we do know the product and the brand inside out, and our team of experts are on hand to help you with any questions or queries or to make a booking for you. Lisa, you've got 2023 on sale for all destinations that we've talked about today, and perhaps even early into 2024 for some of them.
Yeah, so all there is left to launch for 2023 is that second half of the Italy season, while we just tie up those last few details. 2020, winter 23-24, we've got Cape Verde, Rivers of West Africa, Tahiti and Seychelles already on sale. And in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be the Emirates itinerary, which I think is going to be really special because everyone knows the Emirates. There's lots of opportunity to visit those places, but in typical variety style, we are taking you a little bit off the beaten track.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. Well, Lisa, thank you very much. To our viewers and listeners, thank you very much for joining us today. And again, those details for contact will be shared on the screen at the end. So please do get in touch and let us help you arrange your variety cruise. Thank you.